One of the topics that comes up when you talk about how can we improve HR or what are people not like about HR is performance appraisals. So I've been lucky to travel around the world. I get to talk to many companies. There's one HR function or process that everyone universally hates. Employees hate it. Their stomach is churned before they go through performance appraisal. Managers hate doing it. They always turn them in late. They turn them in inaccurate because they don't like doing it. And HR hates processing. So performance appraisal, literally the most hated process in HR, but we continue doing it the same old way. Most performance appraisals, if you look at them, what do they have? Attendance, attitude, judgment. Those are all traits, but they're not performance. So you need to get away from opinions that you get from 360s, away from traits, and get to performance. So I call it performance counting, which is how much money did you make me? How many of your goals did you meet? So you measure the output. So one of the characteristics of great performance appraisal is people can check their own performance. They can then improve it, but they don't have to wait a whole year. So it's analogous to having a brain surgeon cutting on people all year. At the end of the year, you call them in and say, hey, John, you killed 20 people, maybe you should stop. So we need performance appraisal that's instant or at least periodic. Managers are certainly not rewarded or even measured for doing this well. So I know lots of managers who what they call Christmas tree. They essentially take last year's and just check off some boxes because no one in HR checks if they're accurate. They only check to see if they're turned in on time. So in one case, a company called me and said, can you help me with performance management? So I want to fire this person. I said, great. I looked at, they got the highest performance appraisal rating, and 6 months before, they got the Employee of the Year award. So it's crazy. So there has to be some connection. Don't guess about attendance or dress or whatever. Have the data in front of you and have a standard, a benchmark standard, so everyone knows what good and bad is, just like in baseball. One of my favorite examples is a large computer router company, and they asked me to evaluate how long does it take for a mediocre performer to become a top performer. So that's the basis of performance appraisal, performance management, improving people. So we went back 2 years and looked at all the threes, which were bad performers, and we saw how many became ones within 2 years, and it was $34,000 to do it. So the answer, out of 1,000 people that were threes, in 2 years, not a single one became a top performer. So we're not even sure performance appraisal works. We're not sure performance management works. It's really just postponing tough decisions, which is you're not performing, you need to leave. Performance is a moving thing, so it needs to be a multi-year. So if you get a bad performance 1 year, but the last 2 have been negative, then you need to be let go. But we're not forced, and we certainly don't compare performance appraisals across employees or between years. So it is one of the worst processes. Is it a good idea to give feedback? Is it a good idea to use metrics and have data? Certainly is. But most performance appraisals are forms. They're run by HR who doesn't understand them, and we get proud because we turn them in on time, but it doesn't bother us the fact that they're not accurate.